questioning the effects of inflation on your personal finance. Inflation is not the problem, it's the effects. The strength of any problem is in the effects. If two people ran to you and one said, I have been bitten by mosquito, and the other one said, I have been bitten by a snake, your response will not be the same, yet they were all bites. But you pay more attention to snake bite than mosquito bite. Why? Effect of the bite. So inflation is not the problem, it's the effect that will tell us whether it's a problem or not. Okay? By the way, some people think this is for poor people. No, the matter of inflation is not for the poor, it's for everybody. If you are a millionaire before now, by the reason of this inflation, you need to check whether you're still a millionaire. Because what your money yesterday, your million yesterday could buy, you'll be disappointed to know that you won't buy it again. So we're looking at the effect. What is the effect on our personal finances? What is the effect on your personal finances? My major reason for sharing this is to awaken your consciousness. Like I do say, if you are not aware, you are not awake. And in a sleep mood, somebody can steal from you without you knowing. So two things happen when you are awake. You will seize opportunities, and you'll also be able to frustrate every effort or make attempt to frustrate every effort from anyone trying to steal from you. So that's about consciousness. Being alive is one thing. Sometimes people are alive, but they are not conscious, okay? So my trainings have always been around this, to awaken the consciousness. I won't do all the job for you. When I awaken your consciousness and you see the reality, then you can know better what to do. I think at this point I will share this testimony of some persons who have been listening to us. There are two of them. Let me quickly read. These ones, I wouldn't mention the name because I talked with her and she said, no, I should share the testimony but not mention her name. So he said, I'm living at Ababa. I have worked for 3 years and haven't saved a dime. As I listened to your program, which admonished us to live according to daily income and not monthly income, I started practicing what you taught to know if this is the month of June, okay, will be different. He said, God bless you. Now, she sent this somewhere on the 13th of June, okay? Now, this is the next message I got from her of recent, and I want to read this one too to you. She said, good morning, Oni. I just want to thank you. He said, listening to your program has been a blessing to me. I practiced living. Remember, a few weeks ago, she talked about what she was doing. So she said, I practiced living according to daily income, and the result was fantastic. I saved up to 30% of my June salary, though not yet cashed, but the check has been issued. Just within 1 month of listening to your program, I adjusted a lot, spending based on my daily income, and so on and so forth. So if I take my time, I will read up what she had to say here. But just for you to see that somebody's consciousness was awoken and she was taking action. The effect of it is this. Okay? So let me pause it there. Now, this other person, I'm waiting for her testimony because she said, I asked her when she reached out to me, how was the program? She said, to be honest with you, your program has been helpful to me. She said, I had to resign my job because, okay, she works with the husband at the time. Now she said, your program has pushed me into thinking of something else I can do to better my life and my family. So it's, to me, the awakening of the consciousness. Yeah. So when your consciousness is awoken, you will live better. Yeah, that's one thing my training does. And that's what I'm hoping that will happen with you here. What are my concerns? Now, the effect of inflation is very huge as we speak. Okay? When we talk about inflation, which I will explain shortly, or maybe I should tell you this. Everything is about money, okay? And since you were born, money has been going. Money has been spent. If you're a young person, you have not started earning, just know that a lot of money has gone into your life. And you need to appreciate those who did, okay? Now, everybody spends, everybody consumes, but not everybody earns. The question about money is not whether you need it. Okay, but how much of it you need. Okay, there are many good reasons you don't just need money, but so much of it. There are many good reasons. Okay, now without having enough, most people will compromise their good standard. It has been proven over time because you are at a fixed and you want to get help. So what do? And somebody said, oh, before I give you this is what you have to do. Imagine, I learned of a woman who had to cook up a lie to give her husband just because she needed money to buy her underwears. So is that bad in our society today? Okay? So everybody, we need it. Even as a student, you need to get concerned. If you don't have the opportunity to make it, be concerned about the people who are giving you the money, okay? Who are sponsoring you, okay? Now, another thing that happens when there is limited cash to spend or to use is that many people go into free things. And I bet you most free things come with expensive troubles. So they waste their time, and beyond wasting their time, some people have lost control of their own life because they went for free things. And that's very bad. So if you have enough money, there are things you will not really mind. You will just find a way to avoid because you have enough money. And some people have engaged themselves in things that they are, as I speak now, trying to see a way to come out for. But what led them into that? They will blame it on lack of money. I've also discovered that the insufficiency, when we talk about lack of money, doesn't mean that you don't have money at all. It means that you don't have enough to handle the needs of your life or of people around you. So when we talk about lack, it's less of the absence of it, of what we're talking about that you lack, and more of the insufficiency of it. So when a student failed an exam, you discover that most times those that failed scored some points. So why did they fail? Because they don't have sufficient knowledge. That they scored some point meant that they had some idea of the required knowledge. So in any area you are having insufficiency of anything. Even in business, there are so many people in business, what they know is the right thing, but they don't have a sufficient amount of the right thing to pull them through. So they are coming below the cutoff mark or point for success in that thing they are doing. The same thing happens in marriage, in everything. So failure doesn't mean you know nothing. Most times it means you have insufficiency of what is required. Okay, so we need not just money, but sufficient amounts to put through. Okay, now when you don't have money, there are a lot of delays that happen in your life. Look at the other time that there was strike. There are still students, that's actually strike I'm talking about. There are still students in private universities who were never affected by strike. So if you are a student in public university that couldn't afford private university or even travel outside the country to pursue education, your counterpart in other places ahead of you already. I remember one day I was returning from a meeting. It was late night and it started raining heavily. So I had to find a corner to hide while the rain continued. But while I was there, I saw a car coming. The inner light was on and I could see through. It was a lady and a guy. And they were just cruising in the rain. And it dawned on me that the rain, I had stayed there for close to an hour waiting for the rain to stop. But then, as my journey was paused, these other people were cruising, still moving, and they were not in a haste. So I realized that it was not the rain that was my problem. It was the fact that I lacked some things to have kept me going in spite of the rain. So it's obvious that without enough money, we have a lot of delays. Check your goals. If you are somebody that has goals at the beginning of the year, at this point in time, check. You see that over 80% of your goal unaccomplished yet is as a result of money problems. So why wouldn't you want to tackle that problem? And it's worse now. It has worsened now because of the situation of the country. Okay? So saving money, if you had money you said before, in Naira is already gone. So somebody was trying to say, why didn't I consider investing in dollar? Why that would be nice. The truth is, if the rate of inflation on Naira in our economy is higher than the interest in investing in dollars, it's still a waste. So at this point in our nation, cash has crashed and saving cash is losing your money. So it's no longer safe to save your money in Naira or in even other currencies because the rate of inflation is too high. So saving money, your money in liquid cash is wasting it. Because if you could buy a bag of rice yesterday with it, okay, let me take fuel. Fuel used to be maybe with 1,500 you can fill a 10-liter gallon. But today with 1,500, it barely gets you 3 liters, not up to 3 liters. That means the effect of inflation is that your satisfaction is no longer full as it used to be. So you still make the same effort, spend the same amount, but you gain less satisfaction. Imagine cutting your satisfaction using the fuel instance from 10 liters to now the amount you used to buy 10 liters can now barely buy you 2 liters plus. So by more than half, your satisfaction has been cut short. It's the same with every other thing. The other day, the electricity tariff was also increased. All these are bringing a weight on your personal finances. And it's worse for you if you are a fixed income earner, like a salary earner. It's very bad. So you need to do something quickly. Okay? Now, this is the effect of inflation. Okay? Like I said, the strength of any problem is in the effect. Everybody feels it, like I said, inflation, including the person who is rich and the person who is not, okay? Everybody feels it, but it's more on those with fixed earning, and I'll tell you why. I've said it over time, so I'm trying to cap up everything we'll be sharing so that you understand better, okay? Now, I told you that the major effect is that you spend what you used to spend before, but you gain less, like the fuel instance I just made, okay? You used to buy 10 liters for 1,500 or even less. Now, with 1,500, you can barely get up to 3 liters. So is that bad? Now, for those who have salary income, look at what happens. The price of things have risen, but the reality now is your income is still at a fix. Now, as a salary or fixed income earner, working harder may never earn you more. If working harder will earn you more, or working more will earn you more, then what I would just advise you is just if you used to work for 4 hours, work 8 hours and you'll be fine. But now it's not like that. So what are you going to do? Because the price of things have risen. Your money is not getting you what it used to get you. Now, some people will tell you, oh, don't put your best in what you are doing. And I said, no. Choosing not to put in more of your best into what you are doing also puts your personal development at risk. And it's important. Your personal development is very, very key if you will do better tomorrow. So there's no going back to that. So you need to find something else that works. Now, talking about something else that works, you see that your time also is tied down. Basically, what any employer engages in your life, apart from your skill, in fact, the first thing the person engages is your time, because your skill will come within your time. So you've sold out part of your time, maybe 8 hours of your time every day, okay? Now, when you work in a place where you are paid fixed income and you want to earn more, it will take you years. You try to see a way to upgrade yourself in your academic qualification, and then you position better to earn more. But no matter how much you earn, it's still a problem. Now, there are people who do businesses that have fixed income. Maybe you have a keke business where you reach an agreement that they will be paying you a particular amount every month. It's still a problem. But I'm not going into that, okay? Let me just focus on salary and use it to project my point, okay? Now, for most salary earners, you discover that before your money is paid, tax has been removed. It's not bad to pay tax. But then if you're a business owner, you discover that you don't pay tax month by month or monthly basis. It's an accumulation you pay. So that means you can accumulate your tax and even reinvest it before the time of paying your tax final. But for salary earners or fixed income earners, they don't have that privilege. So it's also a problem, okay? The greatest victim of inflation, who are the greatest victim of inflation, is still you, the fixed income earners. Because a businessman, if you meet a bus driver out there in the street, the moment they said fuel is now 500 and something, he increased his transport fare. And you have to pay. The cost is put on you too. It's as simple as that. But how do you, as a salary earner, increase your own earning? You don't have that ability. And the truth is that you can predict this where the headache comes. You can predict how much you earn, but you can't predict your spending. That's why it seems like some salary earners, or most of them, are so gentle. It's not that they want to be gentle, but when you remember that I don't have anything, you just pack. Now, there are two systems I want to quickly explain to you. There is the poor system. You probably have heard of rich dad, poor dad. So I'm introducing you to poor system, rich system. Now, what are these two systems? The poor system runs like this. The poor spend regularly, but earn once in a while. That's bad. So every time they are spending. Now, they are going to the market. How are they spending on regular basis? Because they are buying in retail quantity. So they go to market almost every day. That means more time, more energy, and then they will still buy things higher because it costs to buy things in retail quantity than in bulk. And how do they earn? They earn once in a while, like that scenario, and he earns once in a month of 30 days. But in a month of 30 days, morning, afternoon, night, she's spending or he's spending. So morning, afternoon, night times 30 days is about 90 times of spending. So it's a problem. That's the system of a poor person. What is the system of a wealthy person? The system of a wealthy person is that a rich guy is that he spends once in a while, but earns regularly. So how does he spend once in a while? By bulk purchasing. So he goes to the market, instead of buying a cup of rice, he buys a quantity of it, that's bag. And what does it do to him? It helps him not to go to the market every day, so he saves more time. It also helps him save more energy because it takes energy to visit the market all the time, okay? It also saves him more money because buying in bulk saves you more. And how does this wealthy person do? He earns on a regular basis. So he has a sort of business that helps him earn not on a fixed time, but on regular basis. And this is important. Now, these are systems. So a poor person at this point is not poor because of his personality, but about the system he's using. So what does he have to do? You don't say, oh, but I can't afford a bag of rice. No, I say, see a way to key into the system of the wealthy. What do? Come and talk to people around you to say, okay, let's contribute money and buy rice in bag. You see? And that way, you are taking advantage of the wealthy system. Then the other one of earning once in a while, we'll see how to deal with that, okay? Now, I've just explained to you that this salary earner earns once in a month and spends that many times in a month, and that's bad. Now, another problem, and I want you to pay attention to this, everyone, is that most people spend daily banking on what they earn on monthly basis rather than what they earn on daily basis. So the guy enters a restaurant to eat and he's paid at the end of the month 120,000. So in his mind, I earn 120,000. So he's eating and making orders. But he doesn't know that when he divides 120 by 30 days, what he earns in a day is 4,000. That means he should spend in a day anything less than 4,000. So if he eats in a day, spend up to 2,000 eating in a day, add other expenses, including his rent, because the rent you pay on a yearly basis, if you pay it on a yearly basis, you still accumulate it on monthly basis. So add up everything, you see that you don't have savings. You see why you never have anything left. So I say here, most people spend daily banking on what they earn on monthly basis rather than on what they earn on a daily basis. Remember the testimony I read to you. This was one secret that turned this woman's life around for just 1 month of listening to us. Now, 2 key elements to ending your money lack. Okay, this is important if you get it. So I've told you a better way to manage your money, but now it's not enough to manage your money. You have to find a way. Remember, the part of managing is to save, okay, but then you need to earn more. So there are 2 things I found out that power every correct business. If you don't see this around a business, that is not the business to invest into. One is contacts. Contact means customers. Contact means those who have the need, okay? So every business is built around contact. Now, keep that in mind. The second one is content. Content is product. Content is about your services. Content is about the value you have to offer. These 2 things, in electricity setup, you need the neutral wire and the live wire for current to come up, okay? The same way, as you need those 2 wires for current to come up, you also need content as the neutral wire and contact as the live wire to make currency happen. It's as simple as that. Okay, so these 2 things, if you check every business, genuine business, you see that there must be content, and then this content is serving some contacts. By the way, you need to know that establishment or companies like Facebook deal on the first contact. You register for free and then they use your contact to advertise to us. So I can now target you directly with your contact you provided to them or for them. So that's how they make their money. So let's move on so you see where you belong. Now, there are these 4 categories of people having to do with the 2 things I mentioned to you. You don't need so much to make money. By the way, my equation of money, okay, is the value you have to offer multiplied by the number of people buying it per week. That's how you know how wealthy you are. Now, content and contact. Look at this. Look at this. The first part, you see people who have the content but don't have the contacts. So they have service or goods to offer, but they don't have the market for it. They don't have ready market, let me use that word, for it. Keep that in mind. Now, this second group of people have the contacts, but they don't have the content. The third group of people have the content, and they have the contact. These are people I call systems. So they are hybrid of the first two who have just one. Okay, so if you are at the third point, you are a master, you're a system. That means as you are producing, there are people who are buying, and this is the person in business. The one that has just contact is not in business. The one that just have content is not in business. It's the marriage between contact and content that creates a business, because a business is not just that you have something to sell, it also means that you have people to sell it to at any time. The last group of people are those who have neither content nor contact. These are beggars. They don't have any commercial value. So what I advise people is, as you are listening to me, you find where you belong and you ask yourself, is it contact that I have and I lack content? You merge up with someone who has the content and you move on from there. That's the proper thing to do. So don't just wait. I've told you how to save. Now we're talking about how to earn more, seizing opportunities. Okay? So every business revolves around this. And I told you content means products, services, values you have to offer. I need to remind you that the system of trade by barter has not ended. The way we are taught in economics, we felt that, that system has ended. No, the introduction of money came to perfect the system, not to displace the system. So the system is still in operation. Money came to perfect it. So if you don't have content that's value to offer, then there's a problem for you. And you see, if you have contact, you are still not totally at loss. You know, those times they do, they still do it now, this network business, yeah. Those, I don't want to mention any network name, okay? But you see, sometimes they go to a pastor or go to a reverend father or, somebody who has a contact and they could register the person for free. What are they seeking? Access to his contact. And once they get that access, they can sell what they have. So they have the content, but they don't have the contact. So they are looking for those who have the contact. And that's what you've got to do. Some of us have products, but you see, we don't have the contacts. Okay, now get this, money is a measure of value, not the value in itself. So if you have money, I always say, any money you have now, listen to me, any money you have now, you are holding it for the person who has the service or the product that you need someday. It's as simple as that. The only way to expect money in a genuine way on constant basis is when you have a value to offer that somebody else needs. So I went on to say, in a real economic system, one side never benefits alone. Anytime one side alone benefits, someone has been stolen from. And this is what happens with all you call Yahoo stuff and all of that. So in a perfect system, imagine when a robber comes to steal from you. You end up in regret, or somebody sells a fake product to you. You end up in regret. So that person gained, but you didn't gain. That is not a perfect economic system. A perfect economic system should be a system of exchange of values. Okay? So you pay that person money, he gains money, and you take the product and enjoy the effect, the benefits of that product. So in a situation where that is not the case, it's just like you are paying your attention to listen to me now, okay? Whether you're listening on radio or online, anyhow you're listening. The point is that attention you are paying, if what I'm saying does not have value to you, add value to you, is I've robbed you of your time. It's as simple as that. Now I ask a question: how do you begin now if you don't have the content but you have the contact? How do you begin now to develop the content? I said, look at where the people are going. Where are people always going to? Follow me in this, because this is how to create a content. Where are people always going? Okay? And ask yourself, what are they going there for? Ask yourself, because I told you, one thing powers movement anywhere, whether within your house or outside, is called NEED, need. So I'm in my sitting room and I stand up to go to the kitchen. There is a need to pick something that is meant to be in the kitchen. If I had a medical need, I might not head to the kitchen. So when you want to create a product, you need to look at direction of movement. Even online, what is the direction of movement? Where are people always heading to online? What are they always paying attention to online? So you begin to find need around it, because need is around where people are. Now, when you look at that area of need, let me give you quick tips how you check whether to invest in that area. One, check for the need that is in where people are heading to. Check for the need. That's one. Secondly, check for the presence of free alternatives of solution. So if there is need, but there are free alternatives of solution, you creating something that you want people to pay for will be in vain. So you need to check that. Thirdly, check for the frequency of the demand. If there is no free alternative, then you might want to go into it, but then check how frequent is the demand for what you have to offer. So there are people who want to be earning money on daily basis, but they are offering something that people need on monthly basis. The only way you can still make money on daily basis with what people need on monthly basis is if people need it at several times or different times of the month. Otherwise, is on monthly basis you'll be earning. So check the frequency if you want to earn weekly, monthly, or just check the frequency. And the fourth one, check the extent or the coverage of the need. Now, if the need is just within your family, you can earn beyond your family. If it's just within your street, that's the extent you can be wealthy, okay? So you have to check the extent, the coverage of the need. How many people need it, okay? So that you don't just step into something just for one person's sake. If you have something that is needed on a national scale, then you are having national income. That's it. Then I move on from that. I say, check if there is room for personal growth. Don't just jump into a thing because of the money's sake. Your personal development is important, okay? Then I also say, check the level of control you have in the process. There are people that just want to put their money there and walk away. No. One of the things that salary earners are deprived of is control over their time, most of their time. So you don't want to get yourself trapped again. You need to have some level of control. So you check. I'm telling you, I've shown you how to find a need. I'm not telling you things to check to be sure to invest in this need. Okay? That's in the solution to this need. So if there is free alternative, that's the second point, reconsider. You might not make money going into that. Again, if it's not frequently in demand, is also an issue. Now, in the fourth point, where I said the extent and coverage, there is a need you have and is an international problem. It also ushers you into global wealth that you can earn in dollar. In fact, that's one best way to even earn. And I hope I will be able to give you an idea to that. Having said that, now, this is important. I believe that in the world of means of option for success, failure shouldn't be an option because there are different options for success. I'll give you an instance. You go to buy milk and they tell you tin milk is 500 naira. But then you can see that you have the sachet one. And in the sachet one, there are different sizes. So they have made it almost impossible for you to walk out from that place without buying the milk you came for. Even if you don't buy the liquid one, at least you can buy the powder one. So that's it. There are options. So for somebody that will say, I don't know the best to do, so I will introduce you to some options. Now, when we started, I told you about real estate because we said the best way to go about now is not keeping your money in cash, but investing in growth assets or assets that have the possibility to appreciate. One is real estate. Real estate is like buying land, and that's buying landed properties and all those things, which you know that over time it develops and then you can resell. But you see, that's not a quick way of making money. So you need to exercise the patience. You don't buy it today and resell tomorrow and make money. That's not how it works. Secondly, gold. You can go out there and person who sells jewelries, but you need to trust that the person is sincere. The little money you have, you can invest it there because over time, I told you of a guy who was wedding but had to resell a gold for 500,000 that he bought back then for 100,000 or so. Okay, so the gold has appreciated. Okay, now there's something I call B and S and S and S. Now I was trying to explain something. Buying and selling, that's B and S. But these days, you don't only do buying and selling. Buying and selling, it might not be you go and buy clothes or footwears, something that people always need, or even food, and resell. Okay? So buying and selling. But these days, you don't even need to buy to sell. You can share and sell. That's the way the world is today. Okay? So there is not even buying to pay and own the product first. So there is sharing and selling. Okay? And this sharing and selling, that's what I call dollar income idea, in the sense that it can earn you money beyond our local currency. You have the ability to earn internationally. That's really important because most people's problem is earning in our local currency. But when you earn maybe $10, you see that when you convert it, it's huge money. The fourth point, human capital investment. This is the best of all because the gold you bought can be stolen from you. The landed property can be dragged with you. And, the other one is still good. That's the buy and sell. But it can still, anything can happen. The price can happen. Things can happen. Okay. The greatest investment is in your human capital. And you should never do anything to the detriment of your human capital. How do you expect that when you invest in landed property, the worth of it appreciates, but then you can't think think that when you invest in yourself, your worth appreciates. The difference between a plot of land in a city like we are, compared to a plot of land in your village, if your village is not a city at the moment, is development. So the more you develop yourself, the more your worth increases. Very, very important. Now, these are things when it comes to human capital investment, it gives you control over your time. Yeah, it gives you control over your time. I have my time to do what I'm doing. So it gives you that control, a level of control. It might not give you 100% control over your time, but it gives you sufficient level of control over your time. Again, it cannot be stolen from you. Imagine if you want to travel out of Nigeria, the fact that if you had landed property, you leave it here, and what happens to it? You can't carry it anywhere. You might just want to resell it. Okay? But what invested in you remains with you. And when it comes to the cost, it costs less to even invest in yourself at this time. I don't mean our normal formal education where you spend years. No, in this day and time, within a week, you have learned so much. Okay? Then the tools to operate when you have invested in yourself is not much. Maybe just your phone, and look at these guys that do comedy and all of that. Just a simple phone and they're able to go. They have invested in themselves. Even if you don't have maybe a system or this, you can even borrow somebody's own and do what you want to do and move on. So it costs less to really make great income stream from this, and the result is almost instant. Again, is that I've talked about mobility. Again, is your confidence. When you don't invest in your human capital, you don't have the confidence. Okay? So you lack the confidence. Then your personal worth is also at risk. You might have everything, but get intimidated by people out there. So you see now, I've just gone through what we've shared so far within this time so that you understand the need at hand. And I said, I want to awaken your consciousness so you can take action. Now, in the program we had in UNEC, somebody at the end of the program was asking me, oh, do you have anything to recommend? That's on human capital investment I just talked about. I said, when you try to recommend things, people begin to, when things are free, people's mind close down. They'll just jump upon it without thinking. But when you begin to bring price, people start thinking. And I love that because it makes you take intentional action. But you see, I shared a link to a video on affiliate marketing with some people, and some of them were complaining about the price. I said, if you check the video, I'm not the owner, I'm just recommending it. If you check it and it doesn't convince you to go into, no problem. The only part I'm bringing into it is that I can assure you that anything I share with you is authentic. You can hold me accountable for that. Secondly, if it's something I know to do, I will give you all the support I know, so long as you are acting based on my recommendation. But then, if my recommendation seems like I'm trying to take money from you, what I would advise you to do is take the idea I gave at first. It's a free idea. Find something to do. Find a need around you and find a way to solve it. But if you want somebody to help you, somebody who has gotten to a place and has known the process to help you, be willing. Don't look for something free. Because at the end of the day, if you go for something free, your mindset is also affected. That when you have your product, the best of product, you don't even know how to put a price to it because you never paid for people's own. So who can pay for your own? That becomes a question. So I've never thought of presenting this, but since some calls have come, I'm doing this. These are programs I've had. I have been able to train a lot of people. In Enugu last year, that's 2022, I was the chairman of Skill Fest under PPSMB, okay? That's post-primary schools board, something like that, okay? So I was the chairman and we had over 1,000 people learning different skills and I was the chairman of that program. I trained with them a year before I became the chairman of the last one, okay? So that program is part of what I have facilitated. Then I've done a program for UTOF. UTOF is Ugo Touch of Life Foundation, owned by Her Excellency, the wife of the former governor of the state. Yeah. So she has this organization where they go out to help people. So I've also worked with them to train a lot of people. The radio program you heard me speak on, we started it in 2022 and we've been there. I've been talking there since February 2022 non-stop. So we're always giving value. I believe you've gotten enough from what we shared that even if you don't take action based on this, no problem. This is my very contact. The other one I gave during the radio program is for the organization. But if you still send a WhatsApp chat, I will get it. If you chat me up on this WhatsApp, you'll get me. So you see the other programs that we have. Okay. Yeah, I hope that this has really been of great help to you. I also encourage you to help share this video with other people, to encourage them. Share it with them. Help somebody with this. I'm only never done. I want to get to work with you, and I'm looking forward to that. So take action this week, and let's see what we can do before this season ends.